Hi everyone, Stefan here today to talk with you guys about Vinsmoke Judge. Okay, now since I have a lot of things to talk about this subject, guys, I decided to make this a voice theory so that I could keep it short and not too long for you guys to watch. Okay, so before starting, I just need to make it clear that everything on this theory is speculative, which means it is all speculation. There is no proof yet to the things that I'm about to say. But I will show you guys a couple of panels from the manga and bring up some really interesting arguments along the way. So my theory is that Vinsmoke Judge is, or at least was in a certain point of his life, an actual good person. So to begin with, in order to talk about Judge, I believe we need to talk about Sanjis Mom. Now, we don't really know much about her yet, not even her name. But from what we have seen so far from her, she seems like a very good person and a great mother. We can pretty much tell this by the way she treated Sanji on his flashback. She ate all the food that Sanji brought her, despite being horrible. The food was like a mix of a bunch of stuff and even fell down on the raining floor. Despite that, she ate it all and said it was great and even encouraged Sanji to make her more dishes. Now my first question to you guys is, why would such a nice person, a great mother, marry someone like Judge? Especially if he is this monster that we think he is. Not everyone noticed this in the flashback, but Sanji's mom actually talked about Judge in a very small part. Right after Sanji arrives with the food, she says, "Coming all this way just to see me. Oh Sanji, you will get a stern talking to from your father again if he finds out." There is an exclamation point in the end of that sentence, but we can clearly see that Sanji's mom isn't upset or even worried about what she's saying. It's just like a normal mom telling her son that his father will be a little upset about something. She doesn't look angry or sad when she said this, implying that she doesn't have bad feelings about Judge. Of course, she could be faking it to spare Sanji, but that's something that we still don't know. Adding to that idea, she seems to be being very well cared for in German, staying in the medical ward with Epony, ready to serve her in all her needs. So I want you guys to think a little bit about this, okay, because we will get back to Sanji's mom in a while. Now, this panel right here, this panel was the one that sparked me the idea for this theory, guys. On this panel, we can see Sanji trying to find the key for the Iron Mask so that he can escape Germa and hide in the East Blue. Judge finds him and confronts him, being very harsh and saying that Sanji leaving is a relief to him, is music to his ears. Now I want you guys to pay very close attention to this line right here. Before Sanji leaves, Judge has something to ask of him, and I quote, "However, as your father, I do have one last thing I would like to ask of you, Sanji. It is regarding our family ties. Under no circumstances are you to ever identify yourself as my offspring. You are the sole blemish in my life, the one thing that I am ashamed of. Do I make myself clear?" So a horrible thing to say to a son. We even see Reiji crying. It's like the final spit in Sanji's face before him leaving the Germa. It's like just a horrible scene, guys. Now, while almost everyone thought of this while reading that line, I saw it in a totally different way. So I want you guys to tell me, what would happen to a kid if he went to an island or a kingdom outside of Germa and said, "I am a Vinsmoke from the Germa 66. What would happen to that kid? He would be arrested right away, if not killed, since most of the people don't even believe the Germa 66 is real and think of them as evil beings. So I believe there is a possibility, and I repeat guys, a possibility that Judge actually said this to Sanji in order to protect him from the outside world. Because think about it guys, would it really matter for Judge if Sanji told anyone that he was a Vinsmoke? Would that hurt Judge's pride so much that some kid somewhere in the world says he is from his family? I personally don't think that would be such an important matter for him. Now, to understand all of this guys, we need to look a little deeper. We need to look at the Germa itself. What is the Germa 66 organization? What is the Germa 66 kingdom? Well, we know that their goal is to reconquer the North Blue, which was once under their rule. But we also know that reconquer the North Blue is not their main goal. This is a fact, since we have seen them fighting kingdoms in the East Blue even after having conquered the North Blue. And on this panel right here, we see Judge saying, well, either way, in the not so distant future, I'm guessing we will be stripped of the right to participate in the revelry. I hope you are all prepared for that moment, because when it happens, we, Germa, will be one step closer to our ultimate goal. So, what is Germa 66 ultimate goal? Why is it related to the Reverie? Could it be to conquer the whole One Piece world, all the blues plus the Grand Line and Marijoa? Also, what is even more interesting is the fact that Judd had 5 kids. Twins. 5 twins. Now, why of all the 5 twins, Sanji was the only one born without any superpowers? Why Sanji and Reiju were the only ones born capable of having emotions, feelings like normal human beings? So out of 5 kids, we have 3 with superpowers and no emotions, Ichiji, Niji and Yonji. 1 with superpowers and emotions, Reiju, and 1 without superpowers and with emotions, Sanji. Why? Why all this discrepancy between the brothers? Think about it, guys. Could Judge really have failed on his experiment in a way like this? When out of 5 kids, twins, you gotta remember they are twins. Out of 5 twins, you have 1 without superpowers, you have 3 without emotions, and 1 with superpowers and emotions. Furthermore, why does Reiju specifically have superpowers and emotions? In the case of Sanji, we could argue, and it is even said in the manga, that he was a complete failure. Basically, he had no modification made on him, nothing. At least nothing revealed to us so far. So Sanji wasn't genetically modified at all. Now with Reiju, we have someone that has superpowers and has emotions. So she is not a complete failure, like Sanji. She was genetically modified. Plus, what exactly is Reiju's role in Germa? What was she created to do? Why when we see her, she's always separated from her brothers and close to Judge? Why when Judge talks to his head scientist about the results of the generic modifications, they mention every kid but Reiju? Why is she number 0? There is something else up with Reiju, guys, and I believe we will find out what in this arc. Now going back to Sanjays Mom, there was one thing that she had and was shown to us since the beginning of the flashback, which was the fact that she was sick. She was sick to a point that she didn't even stay in the castle with her kids. She stayed in the medical ward, so that in any case of emergency, she would have immediate assistance. Not long after we see her with Sanji, she dies, probably because of the disease, but it's still not confirmed yet. Now, what if at a certain point, Judge's true goal was to find a cure for his wife? Because think about it, the Germa have a lot of technology and Judge himself is a genius, or at least he considers himself to be one. So why couldn't he save Sanji's mom? What kind of disease she had? Furthermore, what if Judge decided to create Sanji the way he is on purpose? Yes, what if Judge created 5 kids, each with their own traits, and gave them the exact same education and training in order to evaluate them? So Judge decided to create 3 of his kids with superpowers but no emotion, and just to have some competition among them, he made one of them the strongest, Ichiji, while the other 2 were a little weaker, Niji and Yonji. Then he decided that one of the kids would have superpowers and also have emotions, the girl, Reiju. Why emotions with superpowers? Probably because of her different role in the organization. And then, to finish, he needed a proper way to compare his kids to a normal human kid. So he left Sanji untouched, so that since birth, he could compare a normal human kid, Sanji, to a genetically modified one, his brothers and his sister. And that research continues to this day, guys. What was the first thing that Judge did when he met Sanji again? The first thing, he called him to fight right away, especially after knowing that Sanji had beaten Yonji, and oh boy was he surprised when he also saw that Sanji could use Haki. It could also have been that Sanji's mom was the one responsible for altering the kids so that some of them would have emotions. But that's just another theory and we have no info yet that she had any scientific knowledge whatsoever. So the fact that Judge genetically modified his kids doesn't exactly make him a monster, guys, but rather it makes him a king very concerned with preserving his kingdom. Now to finish off, guys, why did Judge start to hate Sanji? To me, this is totally connected to Sanji's mom's death. since Judge didn't manage to find a cure for her, and Sanji reminded him so much of her, especially because of the emotions, since Sanji was the only one of the kids to show his emotions. Rachel had the emotions, but Rachel never showed her emotions. Sanji was the only one to show his emotions. And as we clearly can see in this panel right here, Sanji was the only one that followed his mom's passion, cooking. So because of that, Judge started to hate Sanji, and that ended up with Sanji leaving the Germa. I believe there is a possibility that Judge somewhere deep down in his heart still cares somehow for Sanji. And that Judge loved his wife a lot. She was maybe the last remaining fraction of humanity that Judge still had on him. We could even compare Judge to a pretty famous character in the DC universe, Mr. Freeze. So that was all for today, guys. Again, as I said, this is all speculation, but I think it's really interesting to think about all these possibilities, okay? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me everything you agree on and everything you disagree on with this theory, okay? If you enjoyed, please give a like and share it. And if it's your first time to the channel and you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more, okay? Also, don't forget to check out my other theories. Okay, guys? Thank you very much for watching and see you next video. Bye-bye!